What's up, guys? I want to talk about how I overcame one of the most depressing times of my life and my unconventional way to becoming the man I am today. You're gonna hear a bit more about my story, how I got here, my trials, tribulations, the ups, the actual downs, like everything that I've gone through, and I want to just dig deeper into all of it. Like, yeah, when I talk about my stories or my reels, you might get like a snippet of it, but like really, like I want to really just like dig down into my story, really kind of show you guys what I been through and all that. And yeah, just kind of explore like what I did afterwards. So yeah, like some free value out of it. I'm an open book, and I'm just ready to dive into this. So this all began about 3 years ago when I was a freshman in college. I got like a full ride scholarship essentially. I think out of pocket, maybe had to spend like 3 or 4 grand, which is like fucking nothing. The college that I went to, it was like $40,000 per semester just to go, and for me to get like a essentially like a full ride scholarship to go to that school, I mean that's fucking huge. But even in high school, and I found it like even in college, I fucking hated school. I didn't like it. I didn't like to go to my classes. I didn't like to go in school in general. I would skip school a lot of times. You told me I had like an 8 a.m. class. I'd be like, bro, fuck that shit. Like, I'm not going to that. And it was just doing like learning a lot of stuff that like I really didn't see much need for it. Like, it wasn't the thing that I wanted to do. It felt like it was forced. And then the thought of like having to go to school again for another 4 years, it was just like the worst shit possible to me. Like, I just hated it. Also, the time I was dealing with a UCL strain and I couldn't pitch as well as I could back then. So getting this is me getting a MRI done. They came out that I had a UCL strain. For you guys that don't know, it's not a UCL tear, so my UCL is still intact, but essentially it's on the verge of being torn. And going into college, I had that. I let all the coaches know, and when you're an athlete and you depend on how good you are as an athlete and you get injured, that fucks you up mentally. Because I didn't have a plan B, a plan C, I didn't have anything else to lean on. My dream was to become a collegiate baseball player. That's what I wanted to do. I put all my eggs in one basket. And for me to have the most valuable thing on the verge of being broken, like that shattered me. I forgot how to pitch. Like literally up to that point, I had pitched for like 3 or 4 years. I had completely forgotten how to pitch, how to throw. All the thing that got me, like everything that got me recruited in the first place, I forgot those valuable skills. And it was so like in the baseball world, they call it catching the yips. It's where like like you literally forget how to play the actual sport, and that's what ended up happening to me. And not only that, but like I was so afraid of actually tearing this thing that I would skip out on pushing myself on the field. I would skip out to throw on the mound. I would skip out on the things that could make me better. I would skip out because mentally I was just so limited. Like I was like, I don't want to get this shit torn. I was so afraid. I was so fearful. Like I didn't want this shit to break. My college dreams, my major league dreams are just all ruined, and then I'm just fucked. So it was like a lot of pressure to perform, a lot of pressure from myself to just like make sure that this thing is still healthy, but also like keep working on your dreams. But I was just like very fearful of it. Not only that, my girlfriend at the time, we were on and off, and it was messing with my head a lot. Any guys that's been like heartbroken, or any guys that like went to college and tried to doing that long distance, it's not gonna work. Typically, it's not gonna work. I'm not saying that you can't make it work. I'm not saying that there hasn't been, husbands and wives that haven't make it work, but typically it's not because you're not there with them. You can't control what they do, vice versa, and they want to go out. They want to explore. They want to do, what the college life is, and it's like when one of the other is like, for example, for me, because this is like my story. Instead of speaking generally, I was like a very jealous boyfriend. Like I didn't want her to do anything, didn't want her to go out. I was like just super jealous. I always called her, I always text her, I always want to know where she was at. I just like I was so like clingy to this person. And like this person was like literally my everything. Like I thought about her 24/7. I wanted her to be my wife, the mother to my kids. I wanted to be like marry this girl, be with her for the rest of my life. And it's like when I not saying that when I didn't lose her, but like even when we were off, we were still texting. So we were exes, but we would still text. We would still call. We would still hang out. We would still do things that like a couple would do, but we just didn't have that title. You know what I mean? And I was just like very clingy to this person. I didn't want to like let go. I didn't want to accept the fact that like this isn't for me, and that's completely fine. It's like I wanted this fairy tale and I couldn't have it, but I just hold on for way too long. And I really didn't like where my life was headed. Like I was injured. This is me, just taking a random, a random selfie. I forgot the name. And this is also me doing a presentation. I actually won. I ended up being part of a team that made a business plan. We ended up winning. We presented in front of millionaires, like literally like people who were like business owners and all that. And we actually won. I'm not gonna put my high school or my college friends in there, but this is me just in there, and that's one of my teachers. He was actually like kind of like an influence to me because he was actually one of the only guys that like actually made money and taught business, which was kind of crazy. But throughout all this is like I have my baseball, I have my girlfriend, I'm also broke, I hate going to school, I fucking like I don't know what to do, bro. Like I'm literally just like lost at this point. Then came one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my life, dropping out of college. I thought about this decision for the longest time because my sister was in college. So it only made sense for me to go to college. Like, doesn't it sound great? Hey, I'm going to college, my sister going to college. Eventually my brother's gonna go to college, my kids and all that. Like it just made sense. I had a full ride scholarship to play baseball for 4 years. I was gonna be the first person in my family to graduate college as well, which is like fucking huge. And then all my friends were in college at the time. Friends that were in the actual school, friends that went to different schools, like all my friends were in college. And it's like I just had this consistent thought of like, I don't know if I should quit. I don't know if I'm tripping. I don't know. Like I just don't know what to do. I read endless and endless like like articles about it, and I started watching YouTube videos, and I started praying to God, and it's like it just felt like I just couldn't find the answer. But it's like I knew that I didn't want to be here. I just hated it, bro. It got to a point where it was just like I was just living in a fucking like cycle. I was like in a box. I was just a hamster in a hamster wheel, just doing the same fucking thing over and over again, just eating shit, just like it got to a point where I was just like, bro, fuck this. I am done. I don't care what I do moving forward. I need something else. I need a new life. And this is literally proof of me showing you that like I dropped out. Like literally. That's the email that they sent me. Hey, you're dropping out. We're so sorry to hear that. Hopefully you can, I don't know, come back later or whatever. But I was just done, bro. I was just done. Like I didn't want this this life. I didn't want to live in this cycle. I didn't want to live the same life that everybody else lives. My friends, my family, everybody. This led to like very bad habits because my life was baseball. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I like. That's what I would dream. What everybody would go party, would drink alcohol, would smoke weed, would snort cocaine. Like colleges are fucking crazy. Well, everybody would do crazy shit. I was in my room watching videos on how to pitch better. I was in my room doing mobility training. I was always wrapped up in just baseball, 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 baseball. So when I dropped out, I literally lost my identity. I had always had The identity, the mannerisms, the way that I spoke, the way that I look as a baseball player. Like if you just saw me in the street, you could point out, hey, this dude plays baseball just by the way that he looks. After dropping out of college and losing my identity as a baseball player, I started to drink. I started to drink a lot of alcohol. This was before me ever turning 21 as well. This was maybe, what was I, like 20? Yeah, 20 or 19 or 20. I started to drink like heavy. I was big into liquor. I love taking shots. I love just drinking a lot. I love the feeling of just like being drunk, because when you're drunk, it's like everything is funny, everything is cool. It's like all your problems go away. I was also working at a shit place. I was working at FedEx, and I just had no goals. I had no ambitions. I started playing video games again. Everything felt dull. It's like one of the strangest parts of my life, but like everything felt dull. Not like I just didn't have any emotions. I was just like mindless, just wandering. Like I was just, if it felt like I was just like this guy that was walking. There would be like a car crash here, there'd be like a fire here, a thunderstorm, and it's like I'm so out of link. I just like did not care. And I would just move forward. I wouldn't make money. I wouldn't make shit money. I would just go by my day, and like it's just like I just did not care. Like just shit. Like it is the biggest waste of time that I've ever had, and it pisses me off that I didn't use that time to fucking work on myself. I literally didn't do nothing for like 3 months. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know who I was. I was going fucking crazy. Thank God I wasn't like suicidal, but it's like everything just felt dull. And this is a picture of me. These pictures are back in Florida. This is me taking a shot, and this picture like perfectly represents how I felt. It's like I'm in a beach. I'm with my cousins. I'm with my aunt and uncle, but it's like it just feels like dull. Like it doesn't feel real. It doesn't like it felt like if I were to live or die that same day, it wouldn't like matter to me. Like it just felt so fucking weird. And I went like months like that, bro. Some days I would cry, some days I would just be like, oh, you know what? Whatever. And it's like there was just no care in my life. Like the most horrific thing could have happened to me, and it's just like I just wouldn't care, like whatever. And I just kept that, like I kept all that shit in, all of it in. The start. I started. So first of all, I quit FedEx because I said, "Fuck that place." It was depressing. Everybody in there is old as shit. Has a ton of kids. They don't know what to do. It's fucking lame. I'm doing like fucking manual labor. Like it just sucked. Like seriously, it just sucked. And here's where I start the hardest job of my life: door to door sales. This is me. I was selling AT&T Wi-Fi and DirecTV channels. If you guys don't know it already, but I'm super insecure of the way that I speak, the way that I sound. Like I'm very insecure when it comes to that stuff. As you see in my stories and in my reels, sometimes you'll hear me stutter, butcher some words, not say something correctly, not land something as good as it can land if I hadn't stuttered. So I was literally facing my fear, one of my biggest insecurities, every single day. And I'm not gonna lie, like there was moments, bro, where like I just like I like the first couple of weeks, it was like it was bad. I can recall one this one time I went into this door, knocked on it, gave my little speech. 2 sentences in, I literally could not say like the next sentence. Like it was like the hardest thing ever. I was so like mentally blocked. I didn't know what to say. I was literally like shaking. Like I didn't know like what to do. I turned around and just walked away. The customer was outside, ready to get pitched, ready, like he was open, and I just turned around and just walked away because I was so fearful. I hated to speak. I hated to speak to strangers. More importantly, it was like a complete stranger. I'm like cold approaching in their house, in their like home, and now I have to spark conversation and try to convince them to buy AT&T Wi-Fi. Bro, it was the craziest fucking interactions. But this taught me one of the most valuable lessons ever. Self-improvement daily. Every single day I got better. Every single day I spoke better. Every single time the actual script flow better. Everything was like I was literally getting better. I was getting like hella reps every single day, and it was just better and better and better and better and better. And this is me selling like two AT&Ts, and it counts as like $270 in commissions. But I was literally improving the way that I speak, that I was saying things. Not only that, but like that was literally the most confident I had ever felt up to that point. If you think, like, if you are scared of being rejected by a woman, if you're scared of just being told no, if you're scared, if you have those fears, go do like door-to-door sales. Get the door slammed in your face, get cussed out, get like people just mad at you, and that shit would go away. This was like a huge turning point in my life. Huge. This is where I started to love sales for real. Because up to that point, I didn't know I wanted to be a business owner. I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't have no goals or nothing like that. This, this started to help me improve my life for the better. Because I understood if I wanted to make a lot of money doing door to door sales, I have to be like sharp. I have to be really good. I have to mean what I say. Like there's so much improvement that I had to do. Moving on. So fast forward a little bit, I did door to door sales for about 4 or 5 months. My car broke down. Even though I was getting better at the job, if you're not consistently making sales, you're not making any money. So my car broke down. I couldn't fix it, and I was unemployed for like a month or so. Not only that, but my ex at the time, she was doing this whatchamacallit, this like foreign trip where you go outside of the country, you study for some time, and then you come back and whatever. So she comes back. This is like January or February of 2023, right? Um, she comes back and we start talking again. Even though, like I understood the effects that woman was doing in my life, not her necessarily, but like all the thoughts I had about her and all that. Like I understood that like that wasn't the one for me, but I was still so attached to this girl. So we started talking. We started saying like, "Hey, like maybe we can make this work out." After the fucking 17th time of us breaking up and getting back together, and just the back and forth, and I started to get into a bit of like red pill content and like what I would want in a woman. And then I just put it out there. I was like, listen, the only way, and I was still open to taking her back. I was like, listen, the only way that I would ever take you back is if you change in all these different ways for me. That is the only way that I'm going to take you back. And she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? You upset me when I did this, when I did that. And I don't know why you're like this. You're starting to sound misogynist and like all these different things. And then I was like, listen, like, that's the only way that I'm ever gonna take you back. Other than that, it's kind of very hard. But I was still on the fence. Even though I knew exactly what I wanted out of a woman, I was still on the fence. And towards the end of that call, I was like, I was like, listen, we just we can't do this. Like we just can't. And that's when we broke up. Like we honestly never spoke again after that point. And I said my girlfriend of 3 years. It was probably, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years. Um, but we broke up. I remember crying that same night, crying like I've never done, like ever. And this went on to be again like some of the more depressing months afterward. Just like I remember, and I joke around with my best friend all the time, but it's like I remember it would be like 9 o'clock at night. I would. This was after I got a car receipt, but I would go in my car, drive 15 minutes away to this park. I would put this song called um it's called like Mr. Strawberry Guy. I don't know, just like this super sad song, and I would just cry. Like literally, I would just like cry. I would look at pictures of her on my phone and just cry. I can recall going to the gym parking lot and before going in there just like crying. Like I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to move on. I didn't know like what to do. This woman who I thought so highly of, like I love this woman with my heart. I would buy her gifts. I would do everything that I can, even though I was broke as shit. I would I would literally drive like 2 hours just to see her every other week. And I would take her out and it's like I did everything that I thought I could to be with this woman. And it was like hard, bro. Like after that, like again, it was like a period of time where like everything just felt dull. And I just kept crying. Like I would like after I got a job, like I would go home and cry. After I don't know, it'd be like a random time where like you know how a Snapchat or Google Photos have those hey, remember this time with the picture? Every time that I saw her, I would just start crying. And it's like I cried so much for such a long time. And it was so weird because I was never like the like the guy who cried a lot. Like I was never like that guy. So for me to cry so often, it was like so weird. But then like this was like the hardest thing for me. But like I knew that I had to delete every single memory that I had of this girl. I couldn't just go in my brain and just take it out. But what I could do is any gift that I got from her, I would just throw it away. Any photos that I had with this girl, I would throw it away. Any videos that I had with this girl, I would throw it away. Any sayings, anything that just me and her knew, like I just had to delete her from my life because it was to the point like it was just poison. It was just eating at me. I couldn't function correctly. My gym sessions weren't good. I wasn't working to the full capability. I wasn't being the man that I was because I just had this girl in my mind all the time. So it was hard. I remember that day. I don't know why I don't have a picture of this shit. But I remember I had like 20 pieces of clothing. I had more than like 1,000 photos, 1,000 videos, and it's like I deleted all of it in one day. It took me like 2 hours because I was literally staring like at like all of this stuff, and I'm like, should I really delete it? Because it was good moments, but I just said I'm gonna delete just all this shit. Delete her from my life, delete her from everything. I need to move on, like seriously. And I was just pissed. I was like, I just need to move on. This isn't right. Like I have to move on with my life. I can't have this girl control me or the thoughts of her control me. So I ended up deleting everything, bro. And even afterward, I started crying. But I started to get my life together. I started to post funny content. I started my business. So at first I was just making like gym memes and whatever. It wasn't nothing serious. I got a new job as well. I quit or I couldn't do my sales job anymore. So then I started working I was a mixing operator. I was making the most amount of money I had made up to that point. My first year there, I made like $52,000. I had like no debt except that college debt. I was making really good money. My dad was because I'm well, I'm still living with him, but made the rent super cheap for me. My car payments are like super cheap, and it's like I'm literally like balling up to this point. It's like, dude, I'm making money over here. Over here, peak, I was like 200, I say 210 pounds, but in reality, I was 220 pounds. And I have on my what call it, on the website of the Marion University, the school that I went to, it says 200 to 220 pounds. And I remember me telling them that because I had weighed myself like the day prior. I was literally 220 pounds. This is me, like peak bulk. Dude, I was strong as fuck. I was just fucking like huge. I had a pretty good start to my business as well. I got like two or three clients my first months in. I was getting like really heavy into like red pill content and like Andrew Tate content. I watch so many podcasts of this man. I read so many red pill books. I read so many audiobooks. I read so many things. Like I was literally like I looked at myself and I was like, I'm not who I want to be. But there are people out there that have that. Their knowledge is out there. If I just apply myself enough, I just look down and just fucking learn, I'm gonna get somewhere. And then I also met my best friend. This guy is my ride or die. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I would never say such a thing in front of him, but it's like he has taught me so many things that I am just eternally grateful for him. He's always been there for me when I needed him, when I needed him the most. He's always like pushed me to become better. He is never like satisfied with just me being comfortable, me being like okay. Um and I remember like when I really knew that like this was like my boy is when you know what? I'm gonna save it for later, but he is like my ride or die. Like if he goes to jail, I'm going to jail. If something happens to him, something happens to me too. It's like he's been there at my lowest. I've been there at his lowest, and like that's how you know that you have somebody that's like tight with you. When you're at your worst, like who is there to support you? When like you don't know what to do, you feel confused, you feel lost, like you're everything feels like it's just going to shit. Who is like ignoring you and who is like by your side, just feeling the same pain that you're feeling. That is the type of guy that Trey is. And I couldn't wish for a better brother, a better best friend. And it's like I look forward to like traveling with him, meeting his kids in the future and just having a fucking blast and live our entire lives. You know what I mean? And just having a blast. And I would use my energy only for knowledge. I realized that I had a lot of distractions. So any point in time that I could learn, I would use that. So when I would drive from my house to my car, audiobook. When I was working, I wore that mask specifically to put AirPods on and put an audiobook or a podcast. But like every single time that I had, every ounce of time would be for knowledge. I had to consume knowledge. And it is incredible how well this worked. I started to speak better, think better. I started to become better with whatever I was learning. If it was learning how to be an actual man, I would learn that. If it was, excuse me, if it was being more, whatchamacallit, financially intelligent per se, I learned that. But it's like I learned so much by just learning from all these great people, and literally like my life was kind of peak. Now this picture is later, but my life was kind of peak. Like I had a lot of good things going on. I was making a shit ton of money. I was super strong. I met my best friend. I'm learning so much from all these books. Like I felt I felt like strong, like powerful. Then came again. I got humble. I got humbled hard because I was spending a shit ton of money, but I was making a lot. I wasn't as consistent with my job, but or essentially, I got fired from my job. As you can see, once they reject more than like two PTOs, it's like you're fired. So I put in two PTOs, they weren't approved, and then the day I came back the next day, I got fired, and I was literally unemployed for like 4 months. All the money that I had made up to that point was gone, and I was also inconsistent with my business. So, like I said, I made $52,000 as a 21-year-old, as a guy who's never made that amount of money ever in his life. I have was like when you don't have money and you don't have expenses, and then you get money, you get like you go crazy. Like I went like crazy. I was spending just like a shit ton of money, even though I had a car loan, even though I could be spending it, using it elsewhere. It's like I was just spending so much fucking money, and I was just wasting it on just a whole bunch of bullshit. And around this time, like before getting fired, I got my first mentor. And even though I was paying him, is like I was doing so well without this business that I was like, wow, it's like, you know, I'll stay kind of like consistent, but in reality, like I was just like on and off, on and off, on and off. And that led to my business not growing the way that I wanted it to. And again, it was like it felt like I was on this hill up top, everything was good, and then everything just came crashing down. I started using credit cards. I started to max out a whole bunch of credit cards. One of them was closed, and it was like a whole fucking mess, bro. Like it was a whole mess. And I told myself, like, I'm not going back to manual labor. I really hated it. Like, even though I did it for like an entire year of like waking up at 3 a.m. and working 12 hours till 3 p.m., doing that Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday and Sunday, it was like the checks that I was making were fine for me enough to just work there one more day and one more day and one more day. And literally an entire year passed. And I was just like, okay, working there for another year. But this is how I knew Trey was gonna be. Like this is how I knew that like this guy was like my fucking boy. I remember like it was yesterday. I was just in the shower. I didn't want to like leave my house. I was a big homebody. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to socialize. I didn't want to do interviews. Like I would just apply on what's it called, Indeed, and like I was just like in the house. It felt like everything that I had worked for just plummeted. I get a call from Trace like, hey, let's go out, let's go socialize, let's go, meet people, let's go talk, let's go out. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't really want to, I'm still applying for a job, and it's like I don't have any money, and I'm just giving him like all these problems, and he was like, Brandon, are you not my best friend? I was like, yes. And he was like, my money is your money. Don't forget that. Don't think that just because you don't have money, I don't feel like sharing my money with you. Don't feel like everything that I have isn't yours as well. Don't think that just because you're in this shithole, I don't, want to help you. Like it's really when he said, "My money is your money." I started to cry. Like seriously, like Nobody had ever said that to me. That like their hard earned money, the fucking hours of just manual labor, of just working and just doing just so much. Like it's hard to make money, but to not only share it with me, but just say like it's just yours, dude. That's what, huh, bro? I started to break down. I just said okay, and he was like, Brendan, let's go out. I said, okay, okay, cool. I hung up. I put the phone down. I went in and showered, and I was literally just like crying. And I was just like so thankful. I kept saying, God, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I, like how are you gonna give me a friend that's just like this loyal to me? Like he's just like he's willing to give me just like everything. And even even up to some point, I started telling him how I have like credit card debt and this and that, and he was like, "Hey, do you need some money?" I was like, "No, no, 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 no. It's fine. Like, I don't need it. I'll just kind of figure it out." He was like, "Brandon, you're broke. You're not working. Do you need money?" And I ended up saying no, but it was like the idea that like it was just open there was like that. Like those are the things that like I needed to hear, and he actually helped me get my car sales job because I knew I didn't want to go back to working a fucking manual labor, but even in that whole year, the door-to-door sales was still in my mind because I've never felt that confident before. This guy that would just speak to anybody, men, women, just anywhere, anytime. I never felt that confidence before in that job, and so I started to talk to him about like how sales is a really good job. We heard from Andrew say that like working a sales job is like the number one thing you should do, and he was really pushing me because I have those self-limiting belief of like, well, my first job went to shit. Why would I go do sales like again? But I just said, fuck it. I'm gonna go all in on myself. All in like I've never had. Like how good could I be if I went all in on myself? I got into car sales. I, I I'm still in car sales, and I'm telling you, the amount of work that I have to do compared to my manual labor job, compared to like car sales, is vastly different. I do not have to work as much physically to make more money than I did back then in car sales. And that's just making phone calls, speaking to customers, consistently there, working, the fuck, like working all my leads, like just just working my ass off. It's amazing how I've been able to just make more money than this job I used to work 80 hours a week. Now I work 20 hours less a week, so I have way more time and I'm making more money now. It is fucking phenomenal. It's literally crazy. I started to diet better. I'll be honest, even though I was strong and I was big, I was eating shit. I was not eating the best thing. I was eating Little Caesars, chocolate milk, ice cream, cakes, like all the bad stuff. I was eating it. Better workout sessions. When I'm in there, it's for a purpose. When I'm in there, it's to get strong, to get like mentally strong. It's like I need to have better workout sessions. This is literally me like currently. I look way big, way bigger than this over here, but I'm just leaner here. You know what I mean? And I've never been this disciplined ever. Like I've been able to find a method through all the shit that I've been through to be successful. I believe this was like my 13th, 14th car of this month, and literally what I had to do. This was on my day off. I literally called my customer, "Hey, I'll be there first thing in the morning to come grab your car." I literally show up there. I think I had like a white T-shirt or a black T-shirt under here. Typically, you're supposed to wear a polo, but it's like I'm just gonna take a picture with this customer, ask her if she has any questions regarding the vehicle, and then just bounce. And I did that in like 20 minutes. I was in, out, sold her, or I guess just took this picture with this car, and I was out. But it's like I've been able to create this schedule and this connection with my clients that I'm at currently in my job. But not only that, I've gotten like way more disciplined in my business. I've gotten a better mentor, a person that I align myself with, a person who's like Christian, who doesn't like idolize like all these materialistic things. Like it's not about the car, the money, what you own. It's more about like being free, which is what I align with more. And so my mentor was more materialistic. This guy is like, if he tells me something, I'm more eager to like do it because I align with this dude more. I align with my mentor more. And my business has only grown since being with him. And it's like phenomenal. And I'm still growing now. And this is what I've learned throughout all this is you have to build an elite mindset. Like this isn't something that isn't that's done like just once a day and then just boom. It's like you have to be uncomfortable every single day. You have to do something that gets you 1% better. And you have to face those fears. It doesn't matter what it is. You may be scared to talk to people. You may be scared to go to the gym. You may be scared to stand up for yourself, but it doesn't matter. You have to do something that can just get you 1% better. Also, take accountability for every single fuck up that you've done in your life. So I took the accountability of that. I wasn't going to be a good baseball player. My girl and I, we weren't going to be, anything that, I took accountability for everything that I did wrong. But then that helped me become the man that I needed to be because I was open and honest with myself. I told myself, here is how I'm fucking up. And then the solution came up, the solution to my problems. And that's how like I want you guys to do it as well. Like you have to be open and honest with yourself because if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with nobody else. So I told myself, listen, like I fucked up in a lot of areas, but I'm going to figure out how to do better next time. You need a plan. You need a plan to execute. I use Google Calendar. You can use Notion. You can have a to do list, but I literally have my Google Calendar filled out with like everything. Me waking up, brushing my teeth, working out, making a YouTube video, reading my Bible, going to work, posting a video, making a YouTube video. Like I have everything planned out. If I don't have a plan, I'm not going to have as much of a productive day if I don't have this calendar. So you have to have a plan. You have to have some type of goal. You have to have something like you're aiming for. You can't just be wandering aimlessly. Get the mindset right, get a plan going. Understand that like this is a long game. I say one good day versus 100 bad days. Like, don't think about just having like really just one good day where you sleep 8 hours a day and you have a really good pre workout and you have a good post workout and you have a killer day at your job and you have like that's good and all, but also understand that like there may be times where you have 100 bad days in a row where something happens in your day that wants to kind of like throw you off, and that's fine. I'd rather you show up 100 times than just one time really well. You know what I mean? And you have to love the game. The game is life. You have to love the bullshit. You have to love going to work, working out, doing your habits, being consistent. Some days it's sucking, some days it's fun. Like you have to love everything. It's a process, and you have to love this process because a lot of people think that like once they receive this certain goal or their dream, it's just going to fix every other aspect of their life, and they're wrong. Because I realize that it doesn't matter how much money I make, doesn't matter how strong I get, how much muscle I get. It's like I still have problems to solve. It's not just going to solve them. And then once I reach this goal, there's a bigger goal, a bigger step, like a level 2. There's always somewhere more to go. That's why you see guys who like lift weights and all that, or let's say that they're like super strong and they've lifted a whole bunch of weight, or they've been on stage and they have a great physique. They're not done lifting. Ronnie Coleman isn't done lifting. Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't done lifting. Jay Cutler, all these guys is like they understand that it was never about winning Mr. Olympia. It's a lot deeper than that. It's like to build up your mind every single day. It's something that like you have to do. Like they have to work on themselves. If not, they don't feel good. And it's a long game, and you have to love this game because you're gonna play it for the rest of your life. And also humble yourself enough. When you start to do good, when things start going your way, when the things that you've prayed for come into manifestation, you're gonna think of yourself as more than than you are. And I've been humbled. I made a shit ton of money. I guess a shit ton of money to me, and I was humbled. I lost it all. I felt so good that I had all this money. I was spending it on just stupid shit. I was just not being who I'm supposed to be. I was super egotistical. I was prideful, and I was also like materialistic as well. Like I started buying, if you guys know dark sports, I started buying like a whole bunch of those shirts. It's like it's $50 for one shirt. That's fucking insane now. But I spent like a whole bunch of money on it because I wanted people to see me that I had the shirts. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. You're not bigger than who you think you are. You're not better than other people. Humble yourself. Don't get carried away with the money, with who you've become. Like it can really be destructive. And this is a thing that like my mentor will preach a lot, but it's like you're not more like money, cars, house, like that's cool. I plan to own a lot of these things later, but it's like this is not much. It doesn't mean anything, to be honest. Like it's nothing. It's just like a nice car. It drives a bit better than the other cars, but it's like that's it. Don't get carried away with all this materialistic things. Don't get carried away with how good you're becoming, and then you start to develop this ego. Like humble yourself, seriously. And if there could be two things that you leave this meeting, the only two things is you must self improve daily. That is a non negotiable. You must go through in your day. I don't care if it's in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, at night. You must self improve every single day. It is a non negotiable. The days where I listen to music in my car, I'm wasting my time on social media, waiting for the weekend. I can't wait to go back home, and like the days where I waste my time, it's a day lost. But the days where I wake up, I pray, I get to work, I go to work, I'm present at work, I'm making all the phone calls. When I'm on my break, I'm working on a video, or I'm reading a book, or I'm reading a podcast, or whenever you self improve every day, like that is where really the growth is. Get away with all the distractions in your life. Get that shit away from you and go all in on self improvement every single day. In whatever areas you like, always self improve daily. And the second thing is get closer with God. It's also a non negotiable. I didn't speak about God much in this presentation, but you have to get closer. You have to get closer with Him. It doesn't matter if you're sinning a lot. Doesn't matter if you kind of want to know about Him. Doesn't matter if Like it doesn't matter which how bad you think your situation is. You have to get closer with him. And this is what I'm doing, or I have been doing in the past. Now I'm doing it a bit more serious now. But you have to get serious with him. You don't have to start big. I'm not saying go buy a Bible, devote yourself to it, and get baptized. Don't do any of that. But start small. Show up to a random church. If that's too hard, go watch a pastor giving a preaching on YouTube. If that's too hard, go read a single page in the Bible, or go read the what's it called, the Bible app, the daily verse. Just go read that, but do something, because none of it matters at the end of the day. None of it matter, bro. The car, the house, the money, the muscles, the strength, the goals. None of this shit matters. We do all these things for him. It's for him that all this matters for. It's to glorify his name. It's to spread the gospel. That is who matters the most. That's it, bro. Don't get caught up in all this stuff and all this pride and all the ego stuff. Like, he is what matters at the end of the day. And I want you guys to take away these two things. Self-improve every day. Get closer with God. And do all these things in just like very small increments. I'm not saying go change your life 180 in one day, but slowly start taking those steps towards it. And that is pretty much this presentation. Thank you guys so much for staying. If you stay tuned to all of it, thank you. Like, these take a good amount of time, and for you to stay here this whole time, I mean, this is awesome. Again, my name is Brandon Romano. Thank you for watching this, bro, and God bless.